Hey everybody, David Olson here. You're listening to Tom and Zeus here on the Shout It Out Loudcast.
Oh boy. Here we go. This is Gene Simmons.
Put that cookie down.
Kiss.
Stop pressing the button.
Stockbroker Simmons.
Star?
Paul Stanley. Is that what he does?
Stop shouting.
My name is Ace Frehley.
He's not what you would call a handsome man.
Oh no, here come the kiss times.
Is that a positive thing?
Okay. Alright.
I'm gonna grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them.
That's what are you talking about? 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like Kiss? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast, episode 294. Ooh. The 1978 Lost album.
Ooh. I'm more concerned with the fact that we're only 6 episodes away from 300. Oh, God.
We're getting there.
I know.
Tom, last week we went back and reviewed the Kiss Animalized tour.
Mm-hmm.
We did a poll. How'd that go?
Yes, we did. Yep. So we asked which of these 4 songs that they had on that tour would you have liked to have seen them kept and continued playing? And those were I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, Burn, Bitch, Burn, Under the Gun, Thrills in the Night. I've Had Enough, Into the Fire runs away with it with 46%. Thrills in the Night at 34%, Under the Gun at 11%. And what's the matter with 9% of you? Only 9% Burn, Bitch, Burn? Come on, man. It's a great song. Our buddy Tony from Restrained, I've Had Enough as a killer track, super high energy, would be perfect in that set list. I totally agree with that.
Fast Kiss.
Yeah. Lee Bruton, I've Had Enough, and keep it as the opener. Great song. What a way to kick off a gig. Yeah, that is a great song. Absolutely. Let's see what people think of this tour itself. We had a lot of comments about people seeing this as their first time. Vet Halen says, who, Jack Barry? As a kid, I thought he was the face on the devil card in Joke is Wild. And then he sent us a screenshot. Jesus Christ. Aggie Dad and Tiger Grad. I love this tour. I still have my Kodak VHS where I recorded live uncensored from MTV. Yes, there is a great bootleg from the Ipswich concert, but there are several others like San Bernardino and Calgary that are much better. Yes, there's actually a lot of good ones out there for this Animalized tour for sure. Todd Steele. It was great but sad night when this tour rolled into my city. Crocus opened and a lightning rigger fell to his death from the ceiling.
Oh,
Kiss was great. Well, you're laughing at Crocus. You're obviously not laughing at the guy.
No,
dying.
obviously, yes.
Kiss was great my first time seeing Bruce. Yeah, we talked about that horrible tragedy when we did that. Yeah, like you said, great but sad. It sucks. MD. Yep, someone did recently post about the Kiss Aerosmith tour over on Loudcasters. You're welcome. Hashtag yeah, honking on Bobo. Oh, yuck. Thanks a lot. Ken and Satan Service. This was my first Kiss show and it blew me away. When they opened with DRC, I almost pulled a fecal freely in my pants. Another great episode, Greg and Phil. Don't ask if you don't know that reference. Simon Ali. My first Kiss show, Seattle, February 13th. Ipswich is available on YouTube as well as Brighton. As for opening bands, Queensryche played the Western Canadian dates in a case that was not accurate. This is one of my eras. Love the show. Love the album. They sounded amazing. And then he has a really cool advertisement for Kiss with Queensryche in Canada. Our buddy Steve. I remember seeing a couple of these shows over here in England with Bon Jovi as support. Seeing them play Under the Gun and I've Had Enough was amazing. This was definitely Kiss at their fastest. It was like listening to the albums at 78 RPM. Staggering. There was no Deuce or Shout It Out Loud. Good stuff there on Twitter. Zeus, what do we got over on the Book of Face?
Okay. Ray Gallus says, great episode, boys. This is perhaps the greatest set list in history. That's going out on a limb that I'm not willing to join you on, brother. It's different. I'll tell you that. Backpat Brad Rusthoven.
Yeah.
Great tour recap episode of their most successful tour of the 1980s. The lightning truss staging effect they used at the end of Black Diamond was awesome. Interesting how multiple makeup era tours in the 2010s would borrow this lowering platform effect. Funny that the makeup era actually copied a stage show effect from the non-makeup era.
Good point. Interesting.
Bobby Kenner. Damn good breakdown of the Animalized tour, boys. You pulled in some things I didn't know, and they're always refreshing. I would have loved to seen a few of those songs live and in person, with Young and Wasted being a big one for me. I remember well from History where Paul describes Bruce nailing the solo for them in the studio on Lonely as the Hunter. I hope Ace continues his game show tour. Woohoo! Pat, I want to buy some vowels.
Oh,
My bowels keep giving me problems sometimes. Jeez. Looking forward to whatever surprise you're cooking up next. But I'm sure it'll blow us loudcasters away. Thank you, Bobby. Anthony, don't call me Mike Hunt. I don't know why.
I haven't heard that joke since like 8th grade.
It's so childish. You've done it again, boys. Great job. I was 13 when Animalize came out, was listening to heavier music. Animalize had some songs that really hit the mark. What fucking difference does it make? Take my money. I think you gave a perfect assessment of Bruce in both his capabilities and what he brought to the band. As for the live show, it would be remiss of us not to mention the big panther heads on Eric's bass drums and that opening set list. Holy fuck. The only problem I had with this tour is they didn't come to Australia, but Mom would have said I was too young to go anyway. P.S. Happy to talk internship with you. How short does my skirt need to be?
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, well, we'll figure that out later.
We might have work for you.
Yeah, just send us some photos and we'll determine that.
Yeah, not of you.
Let's go over to Loudcasters. John Whiteman. I wish you could have seen them on this tour. Killer set list, great energy, and musicianship. The band was at the top of their game, but I watched Animal Lives Uncensored so many times, I remember this tour better than I actually saw. Sometimes I wonder about the fate of the fan with the poofy hair that slowly sauntered across the stage, waving to the crowd, gave Paul a high five, then was hauled away by security. What's he up to now? Hey, are you on this Loudcaster group? Say hello if you are. Frank Anzalone. Love this tour episode. My first time seeing Kiss at the age of 12. Dude, who are these people's parents? God bless you, Frank, but
I agree.
My parents didn't let me go to a concert at 12.
I went when my first concert when I was 15, and I was surprised my parents let me go to that.
Exactly. I was a freshman, I think, in high school when I finally went. Justin Steele, great episode. Also, my first time seeing Kiss. I was 11. I was at the last show at the Meadowlands, New Jersey, with Wasp opening up. I just remember thinking, wow, this is loud, not like playing my records at home. Of course, I had to stop playing this episode multiple times to listen to Animalize. Yeah, Shout It Out Loudcast.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah. Joseph Damiata. I hope I'm saying that correct. Great episodes as always, guys. You helped with the lighthearted break from reality before I had to face tears and mortality again. I always loved this album in tour. I was 10 years old and introduced me to Bon Jovi. It was on the European leg of this tour. You people.
That's 3 consecutive comments. It was 12, 11, 10. We got anybody who was 4 when they saw this show?
Oh, but here comes Joey Bicep Curl Romanek. This was a magical tour for me. Not only did Animalize make me return to being a full-on Kiss freak, but this tour was my first concert ever. I remember being in the arena when the lights went down, the crowd went nuts. The smell of weed wafted into my 12-year-old nose for the first time, and the opening riff of Detroit Rock City hit my ears at constant volume. Nothing was ever the same again, but it was almost not to be. You see, when my parents dropped me and my friends off at the Bayfront Arena, my mom said, "Don't get hurt." As we stood in line for the general admission show, I looked around at all the older metalheads around me, big guys with tons of hair, denim, and leather. And
big
when
hock.
they threw the
Sorry.
he don't mean big cock, big hock. Hoggins? No, big hock. Oh, that was big cock.
Sorry.
Look what you
Derailed
did.
you. That was easy.
Big Charlie?
Charlie who?
So that's what they called you on the team, Big Charlie?
Call me Big Hock.
Honkins?
No, Hock. H-O-C-K.
Okay, Big Cock.
No, Hock.
Oh.
Call me Big Hock.
Big Hock, okay.
And when they threw open the doors, I was instantly crushed up against the glass doors by the ensuing stampede. I merely thought, this is it. I'm going to be the kid that dies at his very first concert. What will my mom think? But luckily, I was pulled to safety by passing Kissed Hard. Maybe he's a loudcaster now and lived to see the show. I imagine if I had it, never gotten to wear tight jeans during my middle-aged years, never growing to get the perfect beard stubble, and never being compared to the horrendous, mediocre comedian with a crappy TV show. Man, what would I have missed out on? Funny you don't say your wife or your dog or anything else, buddy. But
Yeah, right.
yourself that you're worried about. Finally, I got Thanos Akratides, the Greek Thunder from Down Under. He writes, Kalimera, boys. Loved last week's show as usual. We in Australia were starved, not starved of seeing the Animalized tour. I do remember the local record store, Metal from Melbourne. Is that like the record store at the Meadow Glen Mall next to friggin'
What? Coconuts?
What were those stores at the Meadow Glen Mall?
What? Chess King? Tellos?
Tellos.
Suit yourself?
Chess King. Metal from Melbourne.
I'll be right back. I gotta go get a new pair of jabots.
Selling the hundreds and hundreds of Animalized uncensored video. That was a special moment in time. Always loved seeing the video. Later got the DVD from Brazil. Still to this day, love to watch in full. Standouts, Under the Gun, and Thrills of the Night. They should have kept I've Had Enough in there, but ultimately you can understand they need to trim it down from the North American tour. I did have the UK bootleg, which had all those new tunes on it. They Only Come Out at Night. Those were sacred times. I was wondering if anybody has, I know I saw people talking about there's a YouTube show of the first night with all those rare songs on it.
Yep.
I wonder if there's a good CD out there that you can easily buy. If there is, please, someone post it on our Loudcasters page where we can get it. Because someone said it was like part of a box set, and that box set is now super hard to find.
Yep.
I don't want to buy a box set. I would love to get that specific concert. But anyways, over on YouTube, William Flowers. Amazing show. Amazing to hear about the things that happen on certain dates of tours. Bon Jovi arrested at McDonald's? Crazy. The set list on that first Animalized show would have been great off the soundboard. Keep killing it, guys. Appreciate the time you give us KISS fans.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll end on Chris Flood. Guys, how could you not mention the 50 bras thrown on stage in the MTV special? You know how it was staged. The only documented incident of a girl throwing a bra on stage was a girl named Fish.
Oh,
who threw her bra and panties on stage at a Worcester show. Gene spit in it and threw it back. Even the KISS driver wouldn't let Fish hop on Pop. Oh, Fish.
Mighty yuck.
Pew
is right. Ugh.
This is always great. Thanks,
yeah, he's
buddy.
good. He's
Over
good.
to you, Tom.
We got a quick comment here on Instagram from our buddy Junior Vintage. Hard to believe it's celebrating 40 years this tour. Even crazier is Gene's Animalized wigs have stood the test of time and are finally getting a much-deserved induction into the Wigs Hall of Fame. Paul Stanley is said to be furious as he felt his Sonic Boom over Europe wig was far superior. Oh, poor Paul. Yikes. All right, let's get to a couple emails here. We got our good friend from Finland, our friend Jani Aslak Rasanen. Hey, guys, as you probably know, in the mid-'80s, KISS was huge here in Northern Europe. Lick It Up blended well with the emerging metal acts like Maiden, Scorpions, AC/DC, and such. The Heavens on Fire single blew the doors open for them to be plastered on every kid's bedroom wall, including mine. Finally, Animalized Live Uncensored video just sealed the deal in every way possible. That was the hottest shit ever. For most kids here in the outskirts of Western rock and pop culture, that concert video was pretty much all the live footage we'd seen of the band at the time. We didn't know about previous set lists, stages, and props. For us, the Animalized tour was as fresh and exciting as anything, and therefore we were all unable and unwilling to criticize it in any way. We ate it all up and begged for more. The new lineup was the ultimate lineup for us for the same reasons. Nobody missed Vinny or Mark, even though Vinny was on the band's first tour in Finland '83, and Mark on the cover of the album that is still the highest-selling Kiss album in Finland. Maybe if they had put out a concert video from Creatures or Lick It Up, we would have asked, who the fuck is this Bruce dude? But nobody asked. The Animalized costumes were just downright awesome for us. We even bought Gene's wig without blinking an eye. And even without the makeup, he was the coolest dude ever. Now that I look at that era and the concert with a different view, I can hear the overdubs. I miss the confetti. I wish for more pyro, and many of the classic songs are played too fast. But the ending of Black Diamond with the band coming down to the platform is still cool as hell. This being my entry point at the age of 7, the Live Uncensored is my desert island disc, warts and all. Thanks for another great episode. Now I just wait for my book to arrive. That is our friend Yanni Aslak Rasen from Finland. Love hearing from you, buddy. Thank you so much for that great email. We got one from our buddy here, Vinny Benenato. Subject, a humid November night in Poughkeepsie. Great show last week. Love the in-depth conversation around the Animalized tour, which is amazingly enough my first Kiss album. Way back in high school, I had a job at Polka Dots. Holy shit. Both of my managers were huge Kiss fans. They knew I loved Ozzy, Metallica, Van Halen, so they thought I'd like Animalized because of the guitar work, and they were right. This was during the time when all of the remasters were coming out, and I'm pretty sure we played all of them in the store upon arrival. To this day, Into the Fire remains one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. The conversation about Bruce Kulick being an underrated 80s guitarist was interesting. I believe he was, and doesn't get the credit he deserves for that era. There are just so many classic 80s Kiss songs in the albums he played on. Thanks to this show, I was also made aware of the Soundboard album from '84 in Poughkeepsie that I sadly didn't know existed until you guys mentioned it. Wow, well, enjoy that one. Amazing to finally get a live album with Mark and Eric playing together, and even though Mark shreds, it was Eric who shines in that show, in my opinion. What an absolute clinic he put on during that show. At times when it appeared to me that Mark was playing the songs a little fast, Eric had no issues keeping up the pace. That's probably why Paul kept referencing how hot it was during the show, even though it was late November in the Northeast. Him and Gene were probably getting a workout trying to keep up. Also, Paul's banter right before Black Diamond about the brassiere being thrown on stage is just classic. You guys continue to deliver great content. Keep them coming. Yeah, Vin. Thank you, buddy. We got some great emails here from our buddies Baden McLeod, Angelo Capasso, Gino Dvorak, West Beach. Thank you for sharing those. We're going to wrap up our feedback here with an email from our good buddy Kyle Schneider. Another great episode. You guys never disappoint. I think the first thing most of us think from Animalize is the Animalize Live from Cobo Hall. Fun fact, December 8th was Bruce's first official gig with the band, even though we played 99% of the previous shows. The concert was part of MTV's concert series back then. It's crazy to think Bruce's final performance with Kiss was MTV Unplugged. His entire career was bookended by MTV. I've Had Enough as my all-time favorite Kiss song. It blows away DRC, Deuce, Black Diamond, and everything else. It's a unique song where the guitar and drums equally drive the other, pushing the song to incredible power, along with great lyrics that just stand up for yourself and you can conquer anything you want, much more than a party song. 6 of the 9 songs were performed on this album. To me, the Animalized tour really showcased the musicianship with the band. Yes, they played faster, but it brought a unique identity to the songs. I often have fans cite Eric Carr is playing too fast. However, Gene and Paul will run in the show, so you do what your boss tells you. However, I think Eric Carr brought a distinctive style, power, and vibe to the band, and that is why to this day, he is still my all-time favorite drummer. You guys bring up a great point. Kiss actually used to interchange songs in the set list throughout the tour. It's no wonder Eric Singer looked so bored on the End of the Road tour. Yeah, of course. Opening night of the Animalized tour and Brighton, along with opening nights of Asylum and Crazy Nights, should be next on Off the Soundboard. Why? Because these shows are also unique with songs only played once or twice ever. Thanks for being here every week for us fans to celebrate the band we love. Keep on rocking. Speaking of my favorite Kiss tune, check it out. And it's a video from his YouTube page of him playing the drums on I've Had Enough. Well, Kyle, you're a huge fan of the show, huge supporter. We love hearing that. We love hearing your emails, and we especially love hearing and seeing your awesome videos that we didn't even know existed until just now. So, Kyle, for all that and much more, my friend, you are the comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you
Wow. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, buddy. Tom, what we also appreciate is our Patreon family. And like a broken record, we're going to salute a new Patreon member. This time, we're going to give a shout out to Jack Welker, who joins us as a spaceman, and the great Frank Anzalone, who I just mentioned earlier as a Star Child member. Wow, Jack and Frank, thank you so much for joining the Patreon family. Welcome. We know you're going to enjoy it. And once again, we love to thank all our Patreon members and family for helping the show. And that's what Patreon is there to do. It's there to help the show. You continue to support us, and we continue to hopefully give you the content that you want and need. If you join Patreon, you get things from us like merch, which is now we have the shirts, we have the koozies, guitar picks, we have the stickers. In addition to that, we have polls. We have input onto the shows. We have our video, which is coming up soon for a couple of the tiers, video chats that we do. We have the album review crew, which should have an episode coming up with the Patreon picks soon. We have the March Madness. There is so much involvement and so much stuff that we can't thank our Patreon family enough. It continuously grows. It's like breaking record amounts every time. So thank you. And we really appreciate the support. Remember, there are 4 tiers, so find one that fits your needs. We have the Catman level, we have the Spaceman, Star Child, and Demon tiers. All of the tiers have different categories and perks. Please go to Shout It Out Loudcast right on our landing page of our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. You will see the Patreon link. Click on that link, and it'll go to our Patreon page and pick a tier that fits your needs and come and support the show. Thank you, Patreon family. Thank you to Jack and Frank, and thank you to all our Patreon supporters, past, present, and future.
Yeah, huge thanks to Jack and Frank. Thank you so much for joining the party. And I always say, whether you're brand new like those guys, or you've been here since day one, or somewhere in between, it doesn't matter. We appreciate every bit of your generosity, and it just helps to continue to grow this show and give you the content that you want and that we want to give you. So again, huge thanks to all of you, and please check us out, patreon.com, on our website, download the app and search for us.
Yeah, Tom, what we do next is we go to Kiss World. Anything going on in Kiss World?
Now, there was a little bit of something exciting about Gene Simmons adding some U.S. tour dates.
Ooh.
And apparently might be adding some more. So we talked about this earlier when he was touring over in Europe. We said, hopefully, maybe that's a little rehearsal type thing, and that he is going to start doing some things around here. So he's got a couple dates, and the word on the street is that he's going to be adding more. So obviously we're super pumped for that, because we saw Gene last year in Vegas. It was a ton of fun, and who doesn't want to hear more Kiss, especially Gene with some deep cuts. So hopefully we get to continue to see more of that. Other than that, not really much. Ace came out and just said something stupid about his tour or whatever. I don't know.
I love how you phrased that. He said something stupid.
Sorry.
The thing about Ace is I've noticed is like social media keeps putting out older social media clips.
Yeah.
Like him signing books, stuff like that. It's older because his girlfriend's in these videos.
Right.
And, he's still out there in the spotlight. Hey, he's out there doing his thing. God bless him. When Ace is doing his thing, it's just one of those, like, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's continuing. I'm happy that, but just like, it's just that you're waiting for that article. He can't help himself. He'll say something stupid.
Yeah.
And, but for now, if he's out there touring and the guys in his band are good guys, we want to, promote them and see them have some success as well. So, good on Ace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good on Ace.
Yep. I agree. Good for him, I guess. If he's giving people stuff that they want to see, who are we to say otherwise?
Yeah. So, the other thing is, there's always an article here and there about something in the news and stuff and whatever. But for now, it's still kind of crickets.
Yep.
And only other thing I would like to add is Raise Your Glasses. The book is still selling well. I believe top 20 still in music, rock, and rock biographies, which is amazing. Because the funny thing is, Tom and I were looking at it the other day and we're like, look at who is in the categories with us. All these like seasoned authors, biographies, autobiographies, these huge rock stars. Oh yeah. And this KISS podcast did a book called Raise Your Glasses by Shout It Out Loudcast and somebody who's not to be named. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's still doing well. Please, if you can, give us one of those 5-star reviews on Apple for the podcast. But now, more importantly, please go on Amazon and give us a 5-star review. And we appreciate when you do that. It puts the book out more for the masses. It's a big help to the show. And thank you for all the support, and keep putting the photos out with you in the book. We keep, we'll repost them and everything. So thank you guys for your support.
Absolutely. Please check us out. Click on our website. It's right on the landing page. Grab a copy if you haven't yet, and please leave us a review. Tell us what you think. Take pictures. Just enjoy the book. We're so proud of it. And so far, the feedback's been great, and we're so happy about that. So please check it out.
And since we didn't bring it up in the news, Vinny had a comment that came out, and he wants to bring up another comment. Customers of Frailing Cusano Storage, please come get your overdue storage. It's been a rough fall for some of the pets that we have here, and I need some more storage space to bury some more dogs.
All right, we're back. And Vinny was really disturbed about what's going on right now. And he is in the process of writing a new Vinnie Vincent version of the song, They're Eating the Cats, They're Eating the Dogs.
Hey, Vinny, if they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs, where the hell are you going to store it? What do we need all that space for? Come on.
What am I eating? Jeez.
Rachel's got a box of cassettes coming over there. I want to sell to all the suckers. I mean, all my Ace fans.
God. Ace.
This box of cassettes.
Oh, yuck.
Anyway, Tom, September 18th is a big day in the KISS world because it's a lot of albums, a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
But the big thing for us and our favorite aspect of it is the release of the solo albums.
Indeed. Yes. We've reviewed all 4 of them. We've done an episode with Joey where we did a draft. But one thing we've never done, and I can't believe we've never done it, 294 episodes, we've never made the ultimate KISS album comprised of the solo songs. No rules, no draft, no minimums, no, have to have 2 of each or 3 of each. 10-song album. We're going to name it. We're going to name the producer. And we're going to describe what our album artwork would be for the Lost KISS album of 1978.
Yeah, so Tom, this 1978 Lost album will be something that I've been dying to do.
Me too.
And it is extremely difficult to do because so what I did is I just went on my phone, put all the songs on the 4 solo albums onto a playlist.
That's exactly what I did.
And cut it down to 10.
That's exactly what I did.
Fucking hard that was.
So it's funny. So what I did was I tried to pick songs that would be appropriate for a KISS album.
Oh, it's appropriate.
Exactly. There's a couple albums here where some of that was hard, but I tried. I mean, obviously, a lot of it is my favorite songs off the solo albums, but I tried to keep it that's KISS sound the best I could, which was, again, easy for some and hard for others.
All right, Tom. So what do you want to start with first? You want to tell us who's going to produce this album?
Yeah.
With the name of the album or the cover?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's start with the producer. So my favorite albums are from that Alive 2 Love Gun era. We've talked about him many times. He produced Ace's album. So I'm going to have Eddie Kramer produce this because that's my favorite sound. I think it's the rawest Kiss sound that they have. I mean, you listen to Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. I think that's the best that the band's ever sounded. It's not super overproduced and polished. I just love it. My album title, I'm going to call this Radioactive.
Oh, okay.
And that's not necessarily because, it's a song from a soul album. I just think it kind of fits the vibe of Kiss in that late 70s. And my album artwork is going to be some kind of, not a collage, but it's going to take that artwork that was used on the solo album posters, the inserts of the solo albums, those posters, that's going to be the album cover. And I don't know if I'm kind of looking at probably not the four heads, because that's on Dynasty a year later in 1979, but I want that style of artwork of those solo album insert posters. That's going to be it. And it's going to be called Radioactive, and it's going to be produced by Eddie Kramer.
Okay. All right, Tom. So for me, I'm going into this thinking this is 1978. They're on a roll. Love Gun just got released. Now they're doing Alive 2. They haven't had any bad luck yet.
None.
Everything is working.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The TV movie hasn't come out yet and flopped.
Yep.
Okay. The solos themselves didn't come out, and some did better, and there's tension. None of this shit has happened yet. They haven't released the disco album yet.
Right.
So they're still flying high. And this is the album that fits right there in 1978. And for me, I think they could keep the upward trajectory with this album. Okay. So I'm thinking right now that the album is going to produce in 1978, Sean Delaney, who was working on Gene's album, who was helping Peter, who was already the Kiss Whisperer at that point in time.
Okay.
He just had done Double Platinum, which was already doing incredible work too.
Yep.
And I feel like he would have been a great fit to take all this variety and take, I don't know, 40 songs or whatever, and bring it down to 10 without people like flipping out and crying and bitching. And he'd be able to massage all those egos and make it work. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
The album cover is just going to be the four of them, those four images in squares, because it's funny because as I was making the song playlist and you use different albums and you put it on your iPhone,
that's the image.
That's the image, the four. And I did it alphabetically. So it's Ace on the top left, Gene on the top right, Paul the bottom left, and Peter on the bottom right. It's those four together like that. I think that works. I don't think you need to fucking change it. I think it's perfect.
Okay.
The album itself, I'm going to call my album 1978, because when you call it, it's that year, you know exactly what we're talking about. The solo albums, 1978, not just like, hey, Van Halen did 1984. This is Kiss, 1978.
Okay. I like it. I
think that's something different. It pinpoints where you are in history. You know exactly what's going on, and you get the variety of songs and all that stuff. And that's what the album's going to be. So
all right.
Let's do this. Let's open up our albums. We'll play the tracks, because any chance we get to play fucking our favorite songs from this era, we're going to do it.
Yep.
So Tom, want to start us off and just go, what's your opening track?
Here it is. Well, I told you the name of the album is Radioactive, and of course I'm going to start the album with that. So right off the bat, you're getting the vibe, the haunting sounds, the chanting, whatever, and then right into a song right there. So Radioactive to kick off. Radioactive.
It makes sense. I get it.
Yep.
That was a choice of mine too. I was thinking about, but I went with this. Yeah, that's right. Sean Delaney can keep Paul and Gene in check, and he's going to go, fuck it. That's the opening track. He's going to go rip it out.
Yep. There you go. I mean,
it's going to be one of the four opening tracks from this album. I just don't think Peter has a strong enough opening track for this to work, but the other three do.
Yep.
So you're taking who's got the better opening track. I'd probably say Rip It Out is the best way. And what a way to say 1978. Ace just did Shock Me. It's also featured on Alive 2. People are giving them, and you say, wow, this album opens up with Ace singing this killer rock song, Rip It Out.
Yeah, and they just heard Rocket Ride 2 off of Alive 2 also, so he's got all that.
Yes.
Yep.
And so the first 3 songs in a row is Shock Me, Rocket Ride, Rip It Out.
Yeah, exactly.
How fucking sick is that for Kiss?
Yep.
So Rip It Out is my opening track.
Okay, well, that's my number 2 track because I was going back and forth between that and Radioactive, so that's my second track right there.
All right, track number 2. I'm going to go with this. Perhaps my favorite song on all of the solos, Paul Stanley's It's All Right. I look at it as like, if you play Rip It Out and the next track is It's All Right, you're like, what the fuck is this album? Holy shit.
Yep.
They ain't fucking around here.
Yep. Well,
I think it works.
Well, guess what? We're starting a trend here because that's my 3rd track on my album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Tom, let me go to my track number 3. And that's a duplicate.
Okay.
And that's Radioactive. And I feel like we're copying a little bit in the sense that we're not putting any members' songs back to back yet.
No.
Right? So there's that big variety. You went Gene, Ace, Paul. I went Ace, Paul, Gene.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Basically the shit. It's the fucking same 3 songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Backwards order. It's
just a different order. Yeah, right.
I just realized that. I didn't know. It's so stupid. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So number 4 for me is a favorite of both of ours, and I know it'll be on yours, but here we go. That's the fantastic Speedin' Back to My Baby.
Ooh.
When I was younger, that was probably my favorite song off this album. I think Rip It Out was probably a little too heavy for my young ears at the time.
Yeah, I always talk about the time I was in the projects with my friends there, and they played this for me, and they were like, yeah listen to this guitar. And they're like, air guitaring to this. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking awesome.
Yep.
And that's Speeding Back. Wow. Okay.
Love it.
My number 4 is this. I'm going with a Peter track there, Tom, and that's Hooked on Rock and Roll.
Okay.
I think it's one of those tracks that could fit in there that are not ballads that could fit on this album. Hooked on Rock and Roll really works. And I think if you add the band playing on it, it makes it more rocking. So I like it. So I think it goes as my number 4. And I've gone through all 4 members, no duplicates yet.
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I struggle with Peter's album. I mean, I'll get to that when I get to my Peter tracks, but yeah, I mean, it's a great song, and I mean, I'm a fan of the album. We always talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, number 5 is this, Jim. Going top heavy here with some Paul stuff. That's my second favorite, maybe. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me?
Okay.
Trying to keep the trend of a true Kiss album, making it top heavy with the rock, the heavy stuff that you'd expect from the band, coming off of Alive 2, Love Gun and all that stuff, and kind of keeping that trend here with the heaviness. So.
All right. My number 5 is different. It's this. Tom, I think this was a better closer for side 1 for me, personally. And I took Tonight You Belong to Me. I think it's one of those like epic songs, and it might start slow, like, oh, they're ending with a ballad. And then it picks up, and people are like, oh shit, this is fucking badass.
Okay. I like it.
And because I feel Paul has the best solo album, got to sneak in more songs from in there. So I had to put his second song on that side 1.
Okay. Love it. All right. So we're going to flip my record. We're going to go to side 2. And this is how it starts. Side 1 had a moody Gene track. Side 2 has a moody Gene track, Livin' in Sin. It's got another one of those kind of funky intros. It kind of fits the vibe of what Gene was doing at the time, living in sin, that kind of stuff. So kind of poppy, not too heavy. Gene's album was a little bit of a challenge for me because I wanted to stay within the Kiss sound and not like the Gene sound per se that we heard a lot on that album.
I understand completely. I just, for me, I'm not sure if that's the song I would have put, but to each their own. Yeah. I'm opening my side 2 with your favorite, this. That's right, Tom. I'm opening it up with New York Groove.
Ugh. Ew.
It's a fucking only hit off these albums. I got to put it there.
You don't, you don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Oh, but I actually like the song. And
okay, well, that's
works.
Okay, well, that's more like it.
Side 2.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the album itself, the Ace album, I open up New York Groove, the Russ Ballard hit that, was a hit for Ace.
Okay, cool. All right, my number 7 track, second song on side 2 is a duplicate. You had it as the final song on your side 1, and that is the legendary Tonight You Belong to Me.
Yeah, you got to have that song.
Amazing.
It's a fantastic song. It's undeniable.
Yep.
All right, number 7 for me, I'm going to this. Burning Up with Fever.
That almost made my cut.
I was wondering what I like. I love, and I know you do not, Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide. It just wouldn't fit.
Yep.
All right.
It's funny.
But I do like Burning Up with Fever.
Yeah, it's funny. My other Gene tracks, it was going to be Burning Up with Fever or Living in Sin, because a lot of the other stuff was a little too Beatle-y for a Kiss album,
Yeah, exactly. We're not done yet, but let's.
Of course.
Go on to song number 8 for you, buddy.
Yeah, number 8 is the Catman makes his first appearance here. So here we go. So 1978, you're starting to get into a little bit of the disco pop, soft rock stuff. I struggled with Peter's album and how I could apply something from his album onto a Kiss album. I put this one on here because it gives a little taste of what's to come on some of the Dynasty and Unmasked vibe, and I went with You Matter to Me. Oh. It doesn't really fit the album, but I think for Peter it does. And again, it's 1978, and that's kind of the sound of what pop music was turning into at the time. So, plus, I like the song. I always have.
Yeah. No, if you like it, that's the point of it being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 8 for me is a duplicate, Speeding Back to My Baby.
Okay. Nice.
Your last 2 tracks.
The last 2 tracks. All right. This was going to be the final track, and it probably should have, but I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. But so this is the penultimate track.
Okay.
Here we go. Another Paul song, Goodbye.
Okay.
Right there. It was going to be the final track, but I want to do something a little special for the final track. So that's my number 9.
So I guess Wish You When You Upon a Star is coming up.
Definitely. You nailed it.
Number 9 for me, Tom, is this. I'm going to put a ballad on here, and it's a Peter Criss ballad, and it's the best ballad maybe in the Kiss catalog. I Can't Stop the Rain. I think it works. I think it's a great ballad. I think it's a very 70s tinted ballad. Yep. And I think you can get away with it because it's a ballad. So you don't have to say, oh, what's with the disco shit? Because it's not fitting the mood. The only thing I think so far that's not fitting the mood a little is Burning Up with Fever. But with the band playing it and Hooked on Rock and Roll, I think it's going to be a little bit more rocking than their solo stuff.
Okay. All right. My final track, I kind of took a page out of the Metallica playbook. I'm ending with this. That's right. Something Kiss never really did, except for maybe the debut album there. But we're going to end with an instrumental. Fractured Mirror is the final track on my album.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I can see that.
Yep. I love how Metallica did that all the time. And first of all, I love it. And I just think it's kind of something unique for the band that they never really did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 10 for me is Goodbye.
Okay.
So It's a duplicate.
Yep.
The only thing I would think of to do with Fractured Mirror is perhaps you could do a intro to Rip It Out, my number 1 song, opening song, with a little Fractured Mirror, and then you do it as the outro after Goodbye, and you do a recurrent theme, maybe.
Kind of like Pearl Jam did with the way they opened up.
Yeah,
with 10, and then it kind of ended the same way. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
But we got a few similar songs. I had 3 Ace, 3 Paul, 2 Gene, 2 Peter.
Yep. I had 1 Peter, 3 Ace, 2 Gene, 4 Paul, which kind of fits in line, Ace got the bonus there with the instrumental, but Peter, I love the Peter album. I say it was just kind of a struggle to fit it into a Kiss album. I think you made a good decision with the ballad because you can't really complain about that because it's a ballad. So.
Yeah, the other Peter songs I contemplated, I'm Gonna Love You. That's the Kind of Sugar. the title would fucking be like, what? But Rock Me Baby is a little bit rocking. They could make that. With Gene, I thought just like you, Living in Sin, possibly Man of a Thousand Faces, but it's just not the same stuff.
Yep.
And maybe See You Tonight. With Ace, I thought about What's on Your Mind as the extra, but I couldn't go more than 3. 4 would be What's on Your Mind. So I didn't even look after What's on Your Mind. With Paul, I had, Love and Chains as a possibility as well. And Wouldn't You Like to Know Me and Take Me Away as possibilities as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and Wouldn't You Like to Know? Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's album, the whole thing could have been there. And you're right. For Ace, I definitely had What's on Your Mind as an option. For Gene, I had See You Tonight on there, but again, maybe the band and Eddie Kramer would have kind of roughed it up a little bit, made it a little bit less Beatley. Peter, again, I struggle, but I do like Rock Me Baby. I actually liked I'm Gonna Love You too. Still a little too kind of bluesy, jazzy, but maybe with the band playing could have made it a little bit heavier, like you said, with what you picked. But yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I know we didn't talk about this, so I'm catching you off guard here, which is something I like to do every once in a while on the show. I'll tell you right now, if this was an album, this may be my favorite Kiss album.
Oh, I agree 100%.
This is the only if this was an actual album, this would be better than Love Gun for me. This would be my favorite Kiss album.
I'm thinking out loud right now. I have Lick It Up as number 1 for me.
Yep.
This would probably beat it.
This would be number one.
Not only is there not one dud on this album for me,
right?
There's no one song that I don't love on this album.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, I look at this playlist, like, I can't wait to make this a Spotify playlist and just like listen to it because it's fucking awesome.
And all you out there listening, try it. Put on Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over, and all these other great classic Kiss albums, and then have this come on and tell me you're not like, holy shit.
Yep.
This is as good as anything.
I totally agree.
And this is 1978, all of it. And you could put this as the Lost Kiss album and be like, holy shit, fuck. You could make an album that could be in the top 10 with songs not on this album from the 4 solo albums.
It's true.
Right?
I agree. Yeah. I thought of that as I was making this. I'm like, obviously we're not going to rank it because it's not an official release, but I'm like, I think this might be the only thing that would knock off Love Gun for me is if this was an album.
Well, all the songs that didn't make these albums for us, I'm telling you, they'd be just as good as anything else.
Yep. I agree. It's too bad.
These songs, they had them all, Tom, there.
We
split them up.
We love the solo albums, but fuck, man. And not to mention the side 4 of Alive 2. That could have been added in there somewhere too.
Oh, we're not going to do that.
No. I know.
My mind would blow up.
No. I'm just saying. But yeah, it was an incredible era for the band right there. Just 77 to 78 was just perfection for me.
This was so hard to do. I'm telling you guys out there, put your solo album together.
Yep.
We had we could have been a dick. Nah, Peter, none of your songs are making the cut. Nah, Gene, none of your songs are making the cut. You could do whatever you want. Tell me what put your album out there. When we put this on social media, list your 10 songs.
Yep.
And let's see what happens. That this was a fun fucking exercise.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. I love that fact. And I said earlier, I can't believe it took us 294 episodes to do this.
Because we wanted to finish the 4 solo albums.
No. Of course. But I love it. I love it. It's definitely a fun exercise.
Yeah. Well, Tom, what we do next is we go to question of the week. You got one?
Yeah, we got one. This comes from Anthony off of Facebook. Very simple question that I love. Speaking of 1978, simple question, Zeus. Is there anything Kiss could have or should have done differently that would have made Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park good?
I don't care what people say. Peter's voice should have been on there.
Okay.
Fucking make it work.
Yep.
Come on, dude. I hate the fact that it's not his voice.
Yep.
Other than that, the script could have been 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Kiss isn't going to be all of a sudden you're working with what you're working with. They're not all of a sudden going to be like, put Paul through acting school. I mean, his great line of walking on that little bridge and then turning back and going, "Let's go."
It's
horrendous acting.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the easiest thing would have been don't wait 30 minutes for us to see Kiss for the first time. I mean, that was one of the biggest things. You pull the people in right away and have the script, the plot be more about Kiss. I felt like Kiss was a character in a movie about Abner Devereaux. You know what I mean? I felt like the movie should have been more about Kiss, if that makes any sense. But I think for me, the biggest thing, don't wait 30 minutes to get him on screen. It was 1978. We knew it was going to be corny and cheesy. I enjoy it. It's fun. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, Anthony, I can't tell by your message if you're serious about saying good or if you're kind of like goofing like we do. But for me, those are our solutions to at least try to improve it, quote unquote.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Great question. I always love talking about Phantom. So thank you.
Tom, where can people find us?
Go to our website always, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That you can find all of our episodes, the Shout Out Loudcast episodes, Dorm Damage, Album Review Crew, Zeppelin Chronicles. Yes, it's alive and well. Trust us. Stick with us. That's where you can find all those episodes, all of our rankings. Everything is there. You can find links to our Amazon shopping page, our Shout It Out Loudcast merch, our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Everything is there. Please make sure you're following and interacting with us. You can also find links to our Patreon, as we mentioned earlier. And we always like to say that we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast network of shows. And also do not forget our email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. If you want your question of the week read to us, that's the best way to do it. We'll take any version of your question, but email's kind of the best way. So please do that.
Yeah, you can DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, motherfucker. Check out the Spotify playlist. Tom will have these up for you, and you find them by going to our profile, not the podcast, Shout Out Loudcast profile, and you'll see the playlist there. And this is going to be a great one, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is constantly growing and much appreciated. We put up as much videos as we can, and we hope you like. And please just subscribe to us there and give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and now more importantly, give our book on Amazon, Raise Your Glasses, a 5-star review. That helps us out a ton. So
yes, please.
Much appreciated when you do that, and we give you a shout out when you do. It's a great big help to us. And keep those photos of you with the book coming. We'll post them on all our social media. It's fan-fucking-tastic. Much appreciated, guys. And what we like to do, Tom, is we always like to end on famous last words. Do you have any?
Oh, I do. I know you write me sexy letters.
I do.
And you send your pictures for my wall. You found the hotel where I'm staying, and you built up the nerves, and then you called.
I didn't want you. Did not need you. Sure would mean to kick you down. You know I love you. I'm thinking of you. Sure do wish you'd come around. Yeah. Tom, Loudcasters, Kiss Army, raise your glasses, tards. Much appreciated. Thank you for all your support. We love you.
Guys, you're the best. Thank you so much. Please check out Raise Your Glasses. Let us know what you think. Take pictures, comment, review. We're excited for it. We know you're excited for it too. Solo album tards. Check this out and make us your playlist. Zeus, as always, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss tards to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?